So welcome everyone to my first ever YouTube review / comparison of the XM3s, the Sony XM3s, and the Sennheiser's Momentum 3s. Okay, so starting with the Sonys, I've had these for a year or so until my last pair stopped charging. So that port there, USB Type-C, stopped working. I called Amazon and they gave me a refund. And I went and bought another pair. Now, I really like these headphones. I've had them for, as I said, for a year. They sound good, nice, punchy. The sound is good, or so I thought. The materials are okay. They're all made of plastic, but they feel really good. When you put them on, they're very comfortable. They got this stealthy look to them. The controls work really well. Sony is known for their ANC performance, and these are very good at cancelling, noise. Sony sold tens of thousands of these. This is a very, very popular headphone. If you go on Amazon, there's about 14,000 reviews on there, which is something quite incredible. You know, it's on the level of sales with a Bose. Yeah, I really like them. I like the way that they fold. I like the way that they feel. All in all, a really good pair of headphones. And the Momentums. Right, so the Momentums are in a different league altogether, right? They're usually more expensive. I mean, the Sonys are now retailing for about just over 200 quid, which makes them amazing value, certainly compared to the XM4s. From what I understand, they're pretty much the same. And these retail for, I don't know, 339, something like that. And they just hold their price a lot more, but they are on a completely different league in terms of the materials. This is all leather, metal. The ear pads are made of leather. They just feel a lot more premium than the Sonys feel. When you put them on, they look cool. I don't think they look as sleek as the Sonys do, but they feel good. They feel really nice and solid on your ears. Right, so why do I have two pairs? You know, why do I have two pairs of headphones? Well, you know, I was curious about how these sound. There's a lot of reviews out there comparing these two and the PX7s and so on, and you know, they say, oh, the Sony sound almost as good as these, not much difference and whatnot, but that is not true. That is not true. The sound out of these Sennheisers is in a different league altogether compared to these. Now, the Sonys, people say that they like the bass and they like the overall sound is very warm and punchy, and it's all those things. And I didn't really notice much wrong with the sound for the year or so that I used them. You know, they're pretty detailed and pretty good. However, the moment I stuck these on, I was like blown away. I was like, wow. It's like, how can I put this? You know, when you listen to these and then you go onto these, it makes it sound like you're underwater listening to these. Literally, you're underwater. That's how much clearer these are. The bass on this is amazing. You know, the Sonys have got some really good bass, but it's a little bit soft and mushy, and it extends. It just wraps the whole music around this kind of a bass. But this one here, it's got some kick. Doom, doom. It's just this is amazing sound. And all the other frequencies, especially the vocals, the mids are really, really, really good. You know, much more spacious sound. I have a lot more fun listening to music on this than I do listening to music on this. I don't know why people are not talking about this more, and they are saying that, you know, these sound pretty good compared to these and whatnot. That's not my experience at all. This is in a different league in terms of sound, for sure. Now, there are things the Sonys do better, you know, like the battery times. The battery lasts a lot longer on here. I think the case is a little bit better. You know, the way that they fit, you know, around the head, you know, really close to the head is a good thing. But these are all minor things. The pads aren't as plush, but they're very, very soft. They're a bit lighter. I really like the Sonys, but I'm a stickler for sound, right? So these will go back now, because the sound on these things is just, honestly, it's just out of this world, you know. There's a couple of things that I like about these as well, which is when you use them wired, which I'm using one of these dongles here so I use it with my iPhone XS, and this is a Zerda, Ico Zerda. Check it out, really good sound out of this. So when I use these wired, and I use the Sony's wired, what happens is that the sound gets a little bit better on both of them. The bass is tighter, all that kind of stuff. So there's an improvement on both of them. But there is a super improvement on these. You know, these scale up a lot better to a good DAC than the Sonys do. And then another perk is that, like, you know, when you wire these, all the controls, volume and whatnot, they don't work. I mean, you can still turn on the ANC and things like that, but the volume doesn't work. And on the Sennheisers, the volume still works. You got the buttons here, and the volume still works. So I'm really loving these. You know, the sound is just amazing, amazing. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're out there looking for a pair of headphones, you know, and sound is something that you're looking for, get this. Don't get this, you know. I don't get how these sell. They have 14,000 reviews. Even the XM4s, which were released like not that long ago, already got 2,000 reviews on Amazon. These only got short of 2,000, and they've come out about a year ago. So I don't really get how that happens, given that the quality on these babies is like so superior. The sound is just unbelievably good on this. So these are the headphones I'm going to be keeping, and as I say, I use a wired connection, but even on Bluetooth they sound amazing. You know, the battery life isn't as good, but I suspect that's because they're doing a lot more with the power in terms of you know, feeding a proper audio circuitry in there. So sonically, these are amazing. When you put them on, the ear pads are pretty deep. They just feel nice. They feel like, wow. The passive isolation on this is quite remarkable. ANC, right? So you might have heard that the Sonys have got like the best ANC on the market and whatever, and they do. You know, the sound, the noise isolation on this is pretty good. I had the PXC's 552s, the Sennheisers, and they were good, but they weren't as good as these. Now, these, straight out of the box, they weren't as good, but there was a firmware update. So I downloaded the app, and then there was a firmware update on these. And the ANC is outstanding, right? I had some aircraft and train and cafe noises on my stereo here, pretty loud. So I was comparing both, and I can say that the ANC on these, post firmware update, is on a level with the Sonys, if not a little bit better. And better because, I tell you this, the lower frequencies completely disappear with this, more than they do on this, right? So when you're listening to the aircraft noise, you can still hear some low rumble, very faint low rumble with this. With this, it just, with the Momentums, it just disappears, right? There is perhaps, you know, the vocals and the high sounds and whatever, probably a little bit more, you can hear them a little bit more on the Momentums with the ANC on than you can on the XM3s, but there's nothing in it. And and the sound, yeah, right, the sound. So I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, some people have been complaining about this slide mechanism. You know, the slide mechanism wears out over time and stuff. But from my experience, you know, where you set it, it's where it's going to be. So unless, you know, because you can fold them like that, and then you unfold them, and they're always in that position. So you're very unlikely to sort of be pushing this up and down anyway, unless there's more than one person using them, or unless, you know, you got a thick hat or whatever that you need to adjust that. So majority of the time you won't be adjusting this at all. So where it is where it'll stay. So in terms of wear, I wouldn't be too concerned. What can I say? I like the physical buttons on here. I mean, the Sony, I've got, like, you know, this pad here. This pad is all a touchpad, and you go up and down and touch and whatnot, and it works pretty well, especially once you get used to it. So there's no good or bad about it. You know, one of the things that really annoyed me about the Sonys is when you got it wired, you turn it on. To turn it on, you have to press and hold for a few seconds, and it's just it's just long enough to be annoying, right? Especially if you have it wired. The moment you take the wire out, they turn off, and then you want to you know, turn them on again, so that you know, you're using Bluetooth now, and then it just takes a little bit of a press on the power button here for quite a long time, so enough to be annoying. With the Sennheisers, on the other hand, you know, they just go like this: power off, power on. That's it. You know, people were saying, "Oh yeah, but if you leave them like that, they will drain the battery. If you leave them open like this." But if you press and hold the button here, they will turn off. Power off. So, and now you can leave them like that. You can leave them around your neck or whatnot. You know, really good feature that these ones have, which is working pretty well so far, is the you know, when you lift the cup or you move the cup, they just stop. Right, whatever you're playing just stops. Then when you put it back on, they start working again or playing again. Right, so to sum up, this is meant to be a short review. Remember, this is my first review, so I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but on camera I'm using just my phone, nothing fancy. But hopefully it'll be good enough for you guys to make a decision and to enjoy. Right, so the Sonys, I love them. They just feel good. You know, they really feel good in the hand. When you put them on, they feel really light. They feel nice and stealthy. I like the design on this a lot. You know, they look cool. Nothing in this plastic. I've had them for over a year. No scratches, no nothing. There's really good quality plastics here. Really light. The sound is okay. The ANC is good. Sounds okay. If you have no reference to measure it against, the sound is pretty good. So yeah, and for just over 200 quid for the XM3s, I think this is a steal at the moment. You know, I would avoid the XM4s. I think, you know, I haven't tried them, but I suspect that there is much difference. Now, these babies here, right? You know, all leather and metal, good build, good quality, you know, the thick pads, and the sound, right? If you're looking for a pair of headphones that has a good sound, that has the most sweetest bass ever, doom, 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 you know, the voices, the vocals, you know, as I say, you know, coming from these, you know, you stick a song on this and then you shift to these, it's like you are listening to these sound like you are underwater. This is how bad they sound. You put these on and all of a sudden, boom, everything just opens. You come to the surface and you can hear everything, you know. It's these are amazing, right? So check them out. Hopefully you liked the video of the Sony XM3s versus the Sennheiser's Momentum 3s. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.